Hello everybody, I'm here today and with a friend and we're going to discuss, what are we going to discuss, friend?
Right, what we're discussing today is all about the DBS checks that we have to have in this country, and I've actually got one myself, which basically is the police testing system to make sure they look into your past to make sure you haven't got a criminal record, which obviously is a good thing because it means basically if someone's sort of like 20 years ago, like got done for armed robbery, would you want that kind of person to come into your
Also, an
come into your house?
enhanced one is for children, to check against children, because that's what the enhanced one is about. Yeah.
The enhanced one is sort of like for I haven't got an enhanced one. I've just got the basic one. But what this is all about is basically, I'm beginning to think to myself that maybe they're not worth the paper they're written on.
Can I ask you something? I know I'm cutting in on you here because you're going to talk about something in a moment, but when you get an ordinary DBS, if anything was wrong in your life, it would flag up on that. So why do you have to have an enhanced one? What do you have to have that for? It would flag up on the other one.
The ordinary one only goes back 5 to 7 years, whereas an enhanced one goes back to right to when you're born. That's the difference.
Right.
So the ordinary one, they only check like back a few years. So if you've had like done something before 7 years ago, then again it will still get flagged up. If it's something really serious, you won't get through. It will still flag up. But the enhanced one, they tend to dig a little bit deeper. You see.
Mm.
What I've got issue with, I've been watching your podcast for years, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, is that you've got a lot of people in the care community that probably we have no sort of like criteria on their life before they set foot in this country. So basically, listen, I don't mind anyone working in this country. They're working honestly and whatever, but so they come into this country, from the day they set foot in this country, they've got sort of like a record and a back state from the place of origin and background checks on them all the way through. But a lot of the people that come into this country, we've got no knowledge of them, what they've done in their own country. So you could technically have a sort of like someone who was a bank robber from any. I'm not even mentioning no countries because I don't. I'm
asking why don't they need one? Why do we need one then?
Well, yeah, no, they do need one when they get into the country. But my point is, they can only check them to when they set foot in this country. They have no idea. They have tried to do it. They have tried. The police have tried checking with a lot of these countries. Well, you've got to remember, Karen, a lot of these countries.
So how did you find this out then? I mean, or how did you put it together?
I worked it out myself. I was sort of like thinking about it, and basically, I've heard a lot of stories about like carers taking like people under their care, like down to cash points and drawing out money. Now, the thing is, they take them to the cat. They sort of like they're under their care, and then they're taking someone with dementia or something down to a cash point. Actually, where I live, this has actually happened. A friend of mine told me his mother-in-law was here until she sadly passed away several years ago, and the carer used to take her down to the cash point, and even when it got pointed out, the police turned around and said, well, he said it was a gift. There's nothing we can do. We can't do anything about this. Basically, it's something that we're not interested in pursuing. So my point is, right, how can it be that we can only check these people on entry into the country, but not previous to that from the country they come from? Now, the thing is, the reason I've got issue with this, I've got a friend that's a black cab driver, and he told me a story about a guy that he knows that TfL took his license away because when he went for it, and because they have to have an enhanced one when they're driving black cabs, and they checked back to about 1983. They'd been driving for years, and all of a sudden he got red flagged about a robbery he'd done or something. I don't know what he'd done. It wasn't like armed robbery. It was something like he might have nicked a packet of sweets. Who knows? But he got red flagged and they took his licence off of him. So my point is, what actually, how worthwhile is the DBS checks? Could it possibly be some kind of little bit of a cash cow? Could it be a cash cow because they're making vast sums of revenue out of it, aren't they? If you work it out, like an enhanced DBS is £38, I believe now. I don't have to pay for mine because I'll get mine paid for, but it's an awful lot of revenue coming in now. You know, listen, I just think to myself, they can only do so much, but it seems a trifle unfair and quite dangerous maybe that sort of like people are only checked from when they get into this country. We don't know their history before. And let's face it, you can pick up the paper any day of the week where sort of like you sort of like see a carer as sort of like, you know, rob the person they've been looking after. And it happens all the time. So I just think that the system needs updating or something, because it's not really working in real terms. You know, it's basically okay for us. Yes, it works really well because we've all got history, but you can't check people from their point of origin, from the country they come from. So you see where I'm coming from, Karen?
Yes, you don't know what they've done.
No, precisely. And I'm amazed that no one's picked up on this before, because I've been watching your podcast for years about various different things, you know, FE, moon landings and one thing and another, you know, fake moon landings and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
I've been watching that kind of stuff for years, like, you know, and then I thought to myself, how comes no one has done one about this? That's why I thought, you know, if I could get hold of you, I'd like to sort of like do one, because I think it should be in the public domain. It's sort of like, you know, how fraudulent the system is. And listen,
do you know what? Can I just say one little thing, right? It was years ago, but I worked out that the bank had defrauded me. What it is they stuck me in the PPI fiasco, but it wasn't PPI. What it is they put wrong charges on my account, which charged me. So that's why we got our money back. But they stuck us in the PPI fiasco, which we weren't. I worked it all out. I said which laws they'd broken, which ones they could use. And then the junior ombudsman filed in favour of the ombudsman, you know, of the bank. And I was like, what? So I went to the chief assessor, what's she called? The chief, the independent assessor.
Ombudsman?
Yeah, and the ombudsman, the one at the top after that. And she said, well, you're going to have to go for a senior ombudsman and then I'll look at it. But when she looks at it, she can't change the case, but she's looking at the conduct of the people doing the case. Well, I told her what went on. They filed my case again and they went with the bank. Then what they did was, I was supposed to get my information first. They sent it straight to the ombudsman, not me, which means it broke the law, and the ombudsman didn't even notice it had broken the law. And then what I worked out was, and then they said, oh, it's taken too much time. And the ombudsman put us in the 5-year wait, and doing that, the time had passed how we could sort it out anymore. We couldn't do it. But I found out from insurance companies that loads of people were like me. So it was nothing to do with PPI. They put PPI on our accounts without our knowledge.
Oh, right.
So it breaks so many rules. And what it was is when I asked for my information, they sent me to the ombudsman. The ombudsman made me wait 5 years. And at the end of it, I thought, oh my God, that's a government body being paid millions to do nothing. So
exactly, and this is my issue with the DBS. Is it A, to protect the general public to the best of the ability, or is it B, a huge money making scam? You know.
Well, why ask these people here? Like, why are so many people coming right now? I asked a couple of people who are working. They say, well, compared to the rest of the world, this place is doing okay. It's much better here. That's what they said to me.
Exactly. But my point is, if they've got a criminal past, it's not going to be recognised.
You're not going to know, are you?
We're not going to know. I mean, look at the amount of Uber drivers now. Uber drivers obviously have to have a DBS as well. There's been a
Well, then they
spate of,
can't employ them, can they?
well, in the last few years, there's been a spate of sort of like attacks on women and in cabs and women being sort of like robbed and one thing and another with people that presumably have had like a DBS check. But of course, the DBS check, like I said to you, is only going to be concurrent from the point of entry here. We're not going to know their past, because what you got to remember, Karen. I've been watching your YouTube videos for years, and I really admire your work. And basically, what it is, they could be anything in their own country, couldn't they? How do we know their past? I know their percentage.
It's a very easy way they're shunting people around right now, isn't it? Loads of people are being. This is probably what happened with when we were supposedly going off to America.
This is it. You see, I mean, the thing is,
migration. It's like a migration, isn't it?
It's a very worrying thing where, listen, back in the early 50s, I was talking about this earlier, when you had like the people coming over from the Caribbean, they were hard-working people and they done some wonderful, but they still do some wonderful work.
Well, most of us end up being immigrants one way or another, whether it's now or 200 years ago. Somewhere along the line, everybody's got a bit of foreign in their bloodline.
That's right. I think we all have. But the thing is, you know, they come into the country and they had their background checks, and they've done a wonderful work all these years. You know, they've been bus drivers, tube drivers, you know, working on the buses and one thing or another. But it just seems like it's very, very rushed through now. So it seems to be a lot of, in the care community, there's a lot of people from other countries that really, let's face it, we don't really know what they're really like, do we? We only know what they're like in this country, and you can pick up I read the Metro nearly every day, and you see these stories right throughout the country of carers robbing sort of like, you know, the people they're supposedly looking after, you know, left, right and centre. And obviously it's because the background check, they've been as white as driven snow while they've been over here, and then once they get their job, then they start.
Oh, sorry, lately Floss is just having kittens all the time. I don't think she's very happy. I'm just going to have to pick her up. Hang on.
Is that your dog, is it?
Yeah, she's getting old now, and I'm not sure whether that's to do with it. But she won't stop moaning. Right, I've got her now. I've got her on my lap, so hopefully she'll shut up now.
Okay.
Carry on.
I did hear in the background. So the point I'm trying to make is, you know, is it really what we've been told, the DBS check, and what sort of like is the fundamental?
It's probably something different, like you think it is. It's probably when you wake up and realise what it is, it's too late because they're using it.
Well, I've woke up to other things. You know, I've been watching like a lot of the people that have been presented on your channel over the years, like, and I've woken up to a lot of things that I didn't know about. You know, and like I've learned so much, which has been fantastic for me. But, you know, I've been wanting to do this for a long time because I realise the fallacies in this particular area, considering I've got one myself, and, you know, how I know some people do get refused on very minor things, but then, you know, the background checks are not going to show up with these people, like, from their country of origin, because a lot of them countries, no disrespect, they're quite corrupt, you know, and I'm not mentioning any lot. We all know where they all come from, and
you would think though, wouldn't you, Gary, that somebody at customs would stop these people if there was a problem from their passport, but I don't know.
That's right. Yeah. Well, not necessarily. What happens if they've?
I suppose if they're coming in on a boat, then they've sort of missed immigration, haven't they?
So anyway, yes, Karen. The thing is, a lot of my friends that have got DBSs that come from these shores are quite worried. That they're very concerned about.
All I see is one world order. It's almost like, you know, they want to bring in that They want to bring in all these digital cards. It's called a GB card, and everything will be on there. Your health, your work, your social life. They'll be able to watch everything you do. This is kind of probably the start of it. But when I learned that the ombudsmen are being paid millions to do nothing, I realised that everything is broken.
The whole system is broken, and the thing is, listen, I don't mind anyone working in this country from foreign shores. I've got no issue with that whatsoever. What I have got issue with is people from foreign shores that haven't had the correct background checks that we all have to go through. You know, each and every one of us, if we got a DBS.
Why do we have to go through these rights to work and have all these checks done on us and all these DBSs if they can work without them? But they're saying they can't work because they're immigrants and they get given a bit of money each week. But we all know that we're finding it really difficult with our jobs. I mean, maybe a lot of jobs have gone since lockup.
I don't think you understand. I'm talking about the ones that have been here for a while and have got DBSs. I mean, the ones that are coming over, like the boat people, yes, it takes them years. That's a different scenario. I'm talking about people that come over here on working visas and one thing and another, Karen, which is a different thing altogether, where they get, obviously, they have to have DBS checks to sort of like work in the care community. You know, like what I do, they have to have background checks. But the point is, how reliable is that background check if it's only like from the time they set foot in this country and we have no knowledge of their history from the country of origin, which is a fair point.
One rule for one and one rule for someone else, isn't it? They just can't wait. You know that people coming into the country bolster the economy if they've got nothing. Because they've got to live, eat and work. Well, work, whatever, you know, they need to buy food, they use electricity, and you know, when they make promissory notes and loans and, you know, they're just, it's not really happening, but the figures show it is, but you know that they're just making more figures, and figures aren't money. Because, you know, you can't draw lots of your own money out now. It's all got a bit like, what is going on? This is a bit... Well, to me, it's like totalitarianism. Totalitarianism. The government has to be in charge of everything.
Listen, Karen. The thing is, right? Listen, I don't. Anyone that's an honest engine, like I've got no problems with whatsoever. You can understand a lot of people in this country that get refused DBS on the grounds of something they might have done, like 40, 50 years ago, when they've completely sort of like transformed their life around. And, you know, most of us have got history. I certainly have. But the point is, they feel very aggrieved when they sort of like, they'll get theirs thrown out of a misdemeanor they've done, like when they was a lot younger. And then if someone's been in the country for like 3 or 4 years, they automatically get one because they've got no history. And then once they get a job in a care community, they could end up, not always, I mean, most of them do wonderful work, but they could, where I live, I actually got like something nicked outside my door, and I think it's one of the carers that probably done it, you know. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I can't see it would be anyone else, you know, something just went missing. I can't see a paper boy doing it or something like that, you know. So it does happen. I mean, a lot of times in their country of origin, you know, because they've had such sort of like hard lives, they think it's part and parcel of the job that they can have a little dip now and then, you know. Whereas I don't, you know. If it doesn't matter if you're nicking like someone's walking stick, a parcel outside their door, or anything else, if you're in a sort of like position of trust, that trust is being disobeyed, isn't it? You know, and I know from what I do, you know, from the work I do with my DBS, that, you know, I really have to be careful about everything, and I've had to do a lot of studying about different sort of like laws, and, you know, sort of like the 2010 like Equalities Act and things like that, because you know, if I'm going into someone's house or whatever, I have to make sure I do everything by the book. You have to know certain parameters. Now, I know they have their training in one thing or another. In this country, it's fine. And listen, there might be people that have got a checkered past, and they come into this country, and then they're perfectly squeaky clean, and they do their job admirably well, like hundreds of thousands do. But I'm saying there's more and more cases of where this isn't happening.
Well, there's an easy way to get a load of people in without having to have background checks.
Precisely.
But they must have to stay here so many years because they can't work, those ones.
That's right. But you get a lot of people that do a wonderful job from Nigeria, Ghana, and all these kind of places that come here and they get jobs in the care community. Unfortunately, it has to be said, and it's common knowledge that them two countries I just mentioned, they've got the governments are pretty checkered. So even if you was to sort of like get a background check on them from the police in those countries, would it be the correct one anyway? Would it be the truth? And most of these people want payola. These countries want payola for this information, because they got very corrupt governments in the first place. So it's a hard call. It's a very hard call. I mean, I'm not saying I know what the answer is, but I'm just saying, like, is it the fact that sort of like the DBS system is a gigantic big cash cow, as well as protecting the public? Is it 6 of one and half a dozen of the other? That is my $1 million question.
Well, it won't be working for us, it'll be working for them.
Sorry?
Whatever they're putting in place won't work for us, but it'll be working for them.
Exactly. So
I mean, what's really going on? Another thing as well that does my head in is that, you've got the Bering Straits. America and Russia are 60 miles apart from each other. Why don't they just kill each other off there? But you know what? There's not one soldier, one sailor, or one pilot that passes down there because they're such a threat to each other. There's not one. So if that's the case, we shouldn't listen to any of the stupid stuff that's ever said about Putin. Putin is one of their comrades. He's one of them. He's part of the team. He's just in Russia, and we've got, what's his name? The one that's Prime Minister now? We've got that one here. Trump's in America. Oh my God, on Wednesday there's a whole programme about him coming back and being a president for the second time and all the work that he's been doing. You think, oh my God. Well, I'm not watching it.
But when you hear an ex-copper, like an ex-policeman turn around and say they're not worth the paper they're written on, what does that tell you? I mean, I've actually heard that out of a policeman's mouth.
Do you know what? This is what I believe, right? It's another thing as well that's not right either, Gary. With lockup and the fact that we had to have the party line, but I think half the people left. And this is another reason why everybody's been having problems with getting appointments and everything, because there's not so many staff anymore, because some people didn't agree. And then what it was is Carol's doctor. Well, he said the same thing. Yeah. So what I mean is there are people, there are rallies, there are things, but you're not really allowed to have a voice anymore. You're not allowed to see all that. You're not allowed to see the truth. You've got to see fake news, AI news.
But this is it. I mean, the thing is, I think anyone listening to this podcast, listen, I've got a lot of friends from all different nationalities. It's nothing to do with any race or anything. No,
it's backhanders, isn't it? It's the fact that the system is bent.
Precisely.
And working for itself and making money for itself while taxing us over and over again. So it's so ridiculous now. We can't even almost open our mouths to breathe.
That's right. Yeah, you got.
To be honest, the people have had enough.
the thing is, like, this is the point I'm trying to make. It's like,
You know, with
I
all these
suddenly-
wonderful people that have come into this country getting this wonderful new life, none of them voted for Keir Starmer, that's his name. None of them voted, because that's another thing that blows my mind. So Keir Starmer, about 80% of the people didn't vote, so that's 20%, and he got the larger vote in that 20%. That's not a majority, that's a vote of no confidence. And they're not talking about that.
Oh,
Sorry,
by the way,
Floss is
what
trying to
breed have
head
you
in
got?
and say, yeah, I just wanted to scratch my back. But,
What breed of dog have you got? An Alsatian, is it, or what?
no, it's a little terrier with a big personality.
Oh, I love dogs. I've had dogs all my life. Yeah, she sounds really lovely.
But anyway, shut up, Floss. Yeah, I just said what I said. We've probably forgotten what we said now, but, yeah. I just find, yeah, it was fraud what that bank did to me. Fraud.
Blimey.
The ombudsman
Yeah,
doesn't
that was
work. That's two bits. So the bank is fraud and the ombudsman siding with that. And they broke the law for me. And then the ombudsman does nothing and makes you wait so long you can't do anything about it. I just see disaster, fraud. You know, if they're allowing the banks to defraud us and so forth, they just don't give a damn. We're just part of a big game.
Of course we are, yeah, I've realised that.
That's
for
why,
years.
okay, you've got my permission. Please go to the Bering Straits and kill each other off there. Go on, Russia and America, just do it. They have to include the whole world.
They're probably. I've watched a lot of your videos. Like, they're probably all in it together anyway. If it's a new world.
But you know what?
What's that new?
That thing about
New
those
world
papers
order,
I was telling you about, you know, like how for 25 years they said that there was this 6 million Jews that had problems, that the Russians didn't want them, that the English wouldn't open the Palestinian gates and let them in because England ran Palestinian in the war. And then it turned into, in 1936, it turned into a European Holocaust. And then in 1938, they said it was all Hitler's fault. Propaganda. It's just so bad, isn't it? I'm so glad that person found those newspapers. New York Times lying. 25 years they went on about 6 million Jews. How can you even fathom what 6 million is?
I know, that's an awful lot, isn't it?
This was in 1907 it started. Anyway, yeah, it's just a bunch of lies. You can see how they played games with the war, can't you? It was just a machine to play a game, and you know, even in the Second World War, you know, when they see those pictures of London that's bombed, it is absolutely annihilated. Where was our Air Force if we were annihilated?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
People just don't have to wake up. Realise there's something really, really, really wrong. Oh yeah, and then our royal family are German. We never got rid of the Germans. George VI, I think it was. That he was, his brother then abdicated. I think it's George VI. So what it was is, the First World War happened because the royal family were arguing with each other, the Kaiser in Germany, and you think, right. And then the Second World War, when they knew that the royal family in Germany were paying to be in the SAS, paying to the SAS, either as soldier or just giving money to the German forces. And then he's called Alexander of Hanover. He was the king's cousin. So the common denominator is Queen Victoria, because she had all those children and they had children, and then all of those married each other. So they've all got Queen Victoria as their grandmother or great-grandmother. Anyway, so in the middle of this war, he asked the king, because he had all these goodies in his house and they wanted to use his castle house for putting soldiers and things in, and he didn't want anybody taking or touching all the paintings and everything. He even had museum stuff. So our army spent God knows how long clearing his house out for him in the middle of a war, and he's the baddie. But what it is the royal family have a code which goes beyond and above politics. So whoever says they're king or the kings don't hold the powers is a load of rubbish. So to me, George VI, that was treason. And he should have gone. It was a kind of secret. And someone sort of found a bit of information out and put it together. And then he said, Charles said that I can talk about this on the internet. And you're like, really? Well, and then what it is I think me and Amy looked it up. Charles is German. So,
oh right, here, Karen, I've got to make my my wife like dinner.
One second. Let me just finish this. So he betrayed our country. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he, in the middle of a war, to the baddies, went and cleared his house out for him. But in reality, they're cousins.
Blimey.
I just, like, when you realise that you're just completely stitched up and you're probably never supposed to find these things out, like what you have about DBS checks.
Well, I mean, it's only because, like, I've got one myself, and a lot of people I know that have got them, like, are quite aggrieved about it. I'm just relaying a lot of thoughts that a lot of people have had. It's not just. It's
really weird when you realise what you've realised, that you didn't see that before.
Well, it was basically I see what sort of like hit home to me. There was a story in the Metro about 2 weeks ago about a guy that had a DBS check and it was completely clean, and he ended up robbing and blinking killing or something, or maiming the person under his care, and that's what made me start looking into it. And apparently, how it never got red flagged in his own country, like he had a record as long as your arm, but it's not going to sort of like be noticed over here because the country of origin wouldn't give any of the information that we needed. Listen, the police have got to do their job, but their hands are tied because it's too much work for them. I'm wondering whether they even try. I mean, I'm not sure they.
Yes,
even
but
do,
why are they letting so many people in right now? It's been going on for about 2 or 3 years, hasn't it?
It has, hasn't it? Yeah.
Is it the Palestinians they're getting rid of? Like bringing them over here?
Well, I don't know, Karen. I'm new at this. Like, I'm just sort of like learning. I'm just learning. When I've watched all your videos over the years, I'm still a bit green at all this. But I mean, I did realise about this DBS thing. That's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. And
well, thank you very much for explaining all that and your thoughts to that.
Yeah, well, I was quite nervous. I've never done anything like this before, Karen. I've been chewing my fingers down to the bone all day because I've been so worried about doing it. I haven't got a lot. I'm a very quiet person, and I haven't got a lot of courage. And my wife always says to me, she said to me earlier, she said, "Go on, do it." And I said, "Oh, I don't know, love. I'm not sure." I was half thinking about not doing it because I suffer a bit from anxiety, but I'm glad I've done it now. I'm getting a little bit stressed out towards the end.
So what do you think it means? Where's the end? Where's the beginning? How do you go any further with that? Stop it. How do you go any further with that?
I don't think we can, because the whole system is wrong, isn't it? I mean, what do they do to sort it out unless they can sort of like check in the country of origin, which I don't see how they can, because it can't happen. And the proof of the pudding is the amount of things that are happening for it not to be.
Every time they have a war, so we've had Ukraine as well, they displaced Ukrainian war, and that will displace people to this country and every other country. So wars are about taking people out of the country and moving them around the place we live.
That's right.
It's a sneaky way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very sneaky.
Because
sneaky.
There's a war in Ukraine, so 300 million of them can come and live in our country now. But you know what? People with no money cause it bolsters the economy, because everything's doing quite badly, really, because we're in a recession. How can you close us up for 3 years and then expect everything just to roll off as if we've never been cut shut off. And now they've put everything up. A lot of people can't afford, you know, when they put out an Alexa's car, and what normal person can buy one of them, or a Volvo car? We can't afford these things.
No, that's right. I mean,
if nearly everybody's on minimum wage, how can you afford all that?
it's very hard, isn't it?
Yeah. But you know what? You know,
Anyway,
when you join Sky, you get this nice package and you get 6 months at this price and all that. But the second year it doesn't happen and you don't get those offers. It's just to get the people in. We'll offer them something and they'll come. So
Okay,
what do they do? Do
they
they just want us to be a benefit state?
I think so. It sounds like it. Yeah, they just want us to sort of like get sort of like benefit off the government, I suppose. I don't really.
That means it's the
much
same
of
thing
it.
that I told you. It's totalitarianism when the government is controlling everything.
I think it is. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
Russia's
Karen,
yeah. Well, anyway, thanks very much for
my
coming
wife-
in and explaining that. You can go and get your
yeah,
tea now.
My wife wants her dinner, so I better, you know, she's not very well, so I better make her dinner for her.
Okay, my darling. Thank you very much for sharing your points for us.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Do you think some of your listeners might have never done this before? Do you think it'll get much viewing figures or what?
I don't know. We have to wait and see.
I don't know. Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Anyway, we'll just finish this. Thank you very much for helping me do the video and all the things that you've said. Maybe that's made people think. Maybe it's made people think.
Thank you. I hope it makes people wake up a little bit and start questioning about things, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much.
That's all right. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, chat room.
I mean, I might do one of these again at some point, you know. If I get a bit of courage again.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. We're just going to end the video and I'll say goodbye to you in a moment. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you, chat room.
Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye.